Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about a new champion in League of Legends. She looks like a deer, and that's pretty cool because my profile picture on YouTube is a deer, but she is actually a centaur. And you know, centaurs are pretty cool. It's half human and a half horse. And today's agenda that we're going to cover about Lillia is, first of all, one is spells, the second one is emotes, third is skins, and the last one, the fourth one, is the lore behind Lillia. So the first topic we're going to talk about is spells, abilities and powers. So the first one is that ability power is the main stat for Lillia. Basically all the spells are benefiting from ability power. So she's basically a mage jungler. And yes, she's a jungler and she's a mage that uses ability power. The first spell we're going to talk about is the passive one. It's called Dream Laden Borg. Basically, Lillia's skill apply Dream Dust, dealing 5% max health magic damage over 3 seconds. So that means if I go to these dummies and press my Q ability, you can see they get like a debuff on them. And if I use another ability, they get the debuff again. So over these 3 seconds, it deals 5% max health in ability power. So, sorry, magic damage, it's called magic damage, my fault. So, that means you can use your spells all the time and it will again refresh the passive ability or the debuff on them and deal again 5% max health over 3 seconds. Keep in mind, it's not gonna deal more damage just because you spam spells after each other, it just refreshes it. So no stacking, it's basically just a refresh. The second spell is Q. It has a passive and it has an active. When you use the passive one, so every time Lillia hits with the Q, she actually gets 11% move speed for 5 seconds and it stacks up to 5 times. You can't have a break using the Q spells and still have the speed on. It's basically, the cooldown of the spell is 4 seconds and the speed buff is only 5 seconds. So you kind of need to hit an enemy all the time for actually holding this up. So you can see if I walk over here and use my Q, now I have 1 stack in my spell, and you can see it's almost running out. Using a spell again, and you can see it almost is, you know, kind of passing out or fading out. So you basically have to use your Q spells all the time and spam on your enemies. And now you can see I will get 5 stacks. She gets golden effect, and she runs quite fast. And then it goes down, down, down. So 4 stacks, 3 stacks, 2 stacks, 1 stacks, and out. So the active part about the Q spell Blooming Blows is Lillia views her sensor dealing 94 magic damage plus 94 true damage out at the outer edge. So that means in the center of it, it deals magic damage, and out in the outer edge, it deals true damage. So you can see when I point on it, you can see on the ground now that you have an outer edge and you have an inner edge. So if I use it at the outer edge, it deals true damage. If I use it in the center, it will deal magic damage. So you can see here, if I go on here, it will now use magic damage instead. Of course, you cannot see it. The damage is still blue no matter what. Okay, it's just I failed that one. That was pretty obvious. There we go. Yeah. So back to the other topic. So the next spell is the W Watch Out Eve. So Lillia wins up a huge strike dealing magic damage. Enemies in the center take more magic damage instead. So that means you can see when I hold down my W, you can see I have like the outer edges, like this is the outer edges. And then you have the little tiny center. If I use it like this, it will deal low amount damage. But if I actually use it where it hits the middle one, I'm just gonna remove cooldowns, then it will deal a lot of damage. So a 500 crit. And if I use again in the outer edge, 143. So it really, if your enemy is like running this way, it's really about trying to hit so he will actually go into the middle of it. Yeah. Then she has a E spell, and it's so freaking cool. So Lillia is swirling, basically she's throwing a thing that is rolling, a ball or something like that. It deals magic damage, and it reveals the enemy and slow them for 45% for 3 seconds. And if no enemies are hit, it will just roll until it meets terrain. So for example, if I stand over here and I use my E spell this way, it's just gonna roll, show me on the map where the enemy is, and slow them. But let me show you a really cool thing that I don't think a lot of people will find out in the start. If I spawn a dummy all the way down here, so spawn in me dummy, and he's in the jungle, I can't even see him. If I now use my E spell this way, it's gonna roll, poof, show me where he is, slow him, and of course deal damage, and of course also my damage over time spell will also be on it. So you can see also the damage over time spell. That is so amazing. I mean, that's so freaking cool. If anyone is like, do you think a jungler is over there? Well, let me just double check. Okay, he's definitely over there. Yeah, he's over there. That is freaking amazing. And now to top it, and let me just show you. If you use it into Terran, it's just gonna destroy. So it's try not to hit walls. Now we're gonna talk about the ultimate, the R spell, and it's freaking cool. It's so cool. Every time you use a spell, so every time you use a spell and the enemy has Dream Dust, you can make them sleep. So when you use the ultimate, everyone who has Dream Dust on your passive ability that deals damage over time, and when you use the R spell, they get for 1.5 seconds, they are getting drowsy, so they move slow, and afterward they fall asleep for 3 seconds. That means, of course, if I use my Q here and use my R, now they will get drowsy and then they will sleep. That's pretty cool. And one more cool thing is, if I awake them, when awakened by damage, they take additionally magic damage. That means I can use my Q, for example, make them sleep, and then if someone else attacks them, it deals more damage. That's pretty cool. Also, if, for example, let's say this guy over here, I'm gonna find him, then I can use my R spell, and he sleeps. So if I want to make sure that my bot lanes is going to gank this guy, I can use my E, if I find him, make him sleep, and my bot lane can go up and gank him. That is, I mean, honestly, that's pretty cool. So basically that is all the spells, the active and the passive spells. So second topic on the agenda is emotes. Let's talk about that. So let's start with the recall. When we press B, you'll basically, the flowering thing inside her staff is going to fly around her. She tries to hunt it. She falls asleep and gets teleported here. It's pretty cool. We can also test the other ones. So if we press Control 1, she made the bird sleep. And now she's like, oh my god. Control 2. Control 3. Okay, it's just looping. Control 4. I have to see that one again. Oh, she's laughing awkward. That's pretty cute. Okay, so that was the four emotes and the record spell. So the third topic we're going to talk about is skins. So you can see on the screen, this is the skin that we already saw in the game, and it's the one that is the standout one that when you get by the hero. Also, you can also get Spirit Blossom Lillia, where she is actually a bit more spirit-ish, and you can see also it has a more spirit thing that is hanging from her staff, and she is just a bit more ghosty to look at. It looks pretty cool, but this is the two skins at the moment we only get for Lillia, but I'm pretty sure of course more will come in the future. So that was the spells, the emotes and skins. So if you're only interested in the mechanics in the game, I have shown you all that. If you're also interested in the lore, you can stay, and I'm going to write read up a story about Lillia. And I'm sorry if I'm sometimes stumbling or something like that, but you have to live with that. So let's go through the story of Lillia. In Ionia, magic is woven into the land. Forests spread vibrantly and trees often boast nearly as many colors as leaves, touched by the wonders of the spirit realm. But there's one forest hidden away that draws on a different kind of magic, a garden with a tree at its heart that gathers humanity's dream in its blooms. The dreaming tree grew from a seed of the god Willow, which towered over the ancient grove of Omikayalan. Cast loose when the god Willow was tragically felled, the seed took root in what came to be known as the Garden of Forgetting. Nurtured by a green father, Irvin, as many of the descendants of Omikayalan, where the dreaming trees spiraled up, spreading the magic of humanity's desire each time the dream-laden buds bloomed. Lillia was born when one of the tree's own dreams was captured in a bud that fell to the ground before it could bloom, something that had never happened before. Sprouting into an awkward fawn creature with the flower bud still on her head, Lillia's only company was her mother tree, and the dream that drifted to the garden each night. Lillia helped tend the buds and learned about humanity through them. Enchanted by the people and places she glimpsed, she spent every waking moment experiencing a swirl of emotions and the sight that mortals could only see when they closed their eyes. In caring for dreams, Lillia also cared for the dreamers. She came to consider each of them a new friend, wanting nothing more to one day greet the people who imagined such wonders. Lillia wanted it so badly that her own desires eventually gathered in a bud on the tree. But when Lillia finally did meet humans, it wasn't like remembering a family dream, it was more like waking up. Something was happening in the world outside Lillia's forest. War blazed like fire through the land, and it's time fewer dreams began to reach the garden. The tree itself grew sick and became infected with burrs, riffing tangled in the trunks, which oozed darkness. Lillia did her best to nurture her mother tree and the dreams that remained in its buds, but it was not long before the garden became so weak that the violence of the world spilled in. One night, warriors entered the forest and chased a lone figure all the way to the dreaming tree. With a single errant blade slash, the branch containing Lillia's unrealized dream came thudding to the ground. Lillia panicked and forced them all to sleep, shocked at the difference between the mortal she thought she knew and the one she had found. They were so afraid, more tangled than sparkle, they were like the burls. But as the warriors slept and Lillia wept, a dream emerged from the lone figure that the others had been chasing, weakly, and floated toward the broken branch on the ground and moved into the bog spot. Lillia picked it up. She could feel the dream as she whispered to it and soothed it. It glowed ever brighter, and so did she. The bud upon her head unfurled, and magic swirled around like sparkling pollen. In that moment, swept up the impossibility and wonder, Lillia herself bloomed. Until with a sneeze, she sent the magic hurling into the surrounding forest. The humans awoke one by one, unable to remember what had brought them to the forest, or what they had done. None noticed the timid fawn behind the tree. With relief, Lillia watched the humans go. Still seeing only confusing tangles, but knowing now that there was still a sparkle beneath it all. And if the dreams wouldn't come to the tree, she would have to bring the tree to them. Taking up her branch, Lillia left the garden and entered the worlds of humans, a world she had always wanted to know, but one that frightened her now more than anything. It was so unlike what she understood. Hiding just outside, Lillia now helps people's dreams be born, drawn forward by a glimpse of who they could be, and by what may be trapped beneath their tangles. By helping humans realize their deepest wishes, Lillia realized her own, the bud on her head blooming as she is filled with joy. Though darkness may be encroaching on Ionia once more, it is but a mask, and beneath it lies the familiar sparkle of hope. Only by braving the world and braving herself can Lillia hope to untangle its pearls. So thanks everyone for tuning into this video for Lillia Champion Spotlight. I hope you enjoyed the spells, the emotes, the skins, and even the lore or the history about how Lillia was born and what her purpose in the world is. So thanks for watching everyone. Let me know in the comments what you think about this video. This is actually my first League of Legends Spotlight video ever. It was just like a little test I wanted to do and see how it was to talk about new heroes. Let me know in the comments if you think I should do it again when they release a new hero, or you think I should stay out of League of Legends. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, have a nice evening and have a nice weekend. Bye.